Hello students, welcome to video lecture series of Artificial Intelligence and Intelligent System provided by St. Andrews Institute of Technology Management affiliated to Maharishi Dayanand University Rohtak, approved by Government of India and AICTE. I am Ms. Pratishri Patnaik, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science Engineering. In today's lecture, we will continue our lecture series with Unit 1 as per the curriculum syllabus. We will cover today the uninformed search algorithm, that is BFS and BFS. Well student, this is the one of the most important topic mostly in university exam. The long question mostly comes with the BFS algorithm or the DFS algorithm, and the comparison or difference between the BFS and DFS algorithm, that is breadth first search algorithm or the depth first search algorithm. Already we come across these two topics in the searching criteria or the search criteria, as we have covered the curriculum in data structure and also in algorithm analysis and design. Today we will be discuss how the search criteria is going to be fruitful in terms of artificial intelligence. When we say it is uninformed search criteria, why it is so called, and how this algorithm can be developed. With the programming concept, the same algorithm can be implemented by using any of the programming languages by the like C or C++, or through Java or through Python. Students can develop the program to execute the proper execution of the algorithm. So when we are saying that uninformed search, in the previous lecture series we have already discussed about the definition of search space criteria, or the classification of searching algorithm is broadly based upon the informed and uninformed search criteria. So today we will be more will be continuing in more details part with the uninformed search, that is a class of the general purpose searching algorithm which is operates on the mechanism of brute force application way, and also this is known as the blind search, because here the output is not known to the user or the agent, the intelligent agent who will be applicable to the search criteria to solve any complex problem. The output analysis is not previously known, and this is also a part of unsupervised learning method, because this searching algorithm will be executed without the support of any teacher. In this case of unsearched algorithm, previous state like the additional knowledge based information is not known, the state or the space more than how to traverse the tree, and so for that reason we say this is a blind search algorithm. So let's begin with our schedule class discussing about the basic criteria of the search tree also. So guys, when we are saying that it is a search tree, so what is searching that is basically implemented, and how the search tree is a part of artificial intelligence. When we say about the searching, we have been defined various type of algorithm used in data structure also. We are definitely using the functions to find out the exact item that is required in the list in an array, or like we are taking down the stack, or we are taking down the linked list. We have come across the traversing algorithms. But when we say about a tree search algorithm, that is will be focus more on this part. What is a tree search algorithm? A search tree is a similar representation of hierarchical based linked list node, where each node represents for a particular state. Nodes that have more than one child can be done. A solution that to be the part of root node is representing the initial node, or the initial state will be represented with the root node, and the goal state till the node we are traversing to find the goal state. The tree search algorithm is also attempted to find a solution that is going to be feasible using the tree search criteria, starting with the examination of start node, and it will be expand together with having all the child node in a symmetric way. So basically when we say about tree search algorithm, the basic that we are going to explore the state space in which the tree graphical structure will be represented using the node and the path also. The nodes that are root node or parent node or leaf node or child node, these two nodes are going to be connected, or the traversing path that is going to be represented with the node representation, and also we will be taking the initial node as the start node until we will be traverse to the node which will be find out the completion of the goal state of that. So we are defining a function over here, that is the tree search problem, the problem which we are supposed to solve, and also return a solution. or it may terminate if the failure condition occurs. Initializing, we are Fonterrier using the initial node of a problem. So the root node will be the Fonterrier node or the initial node to start on with the statement. Will be considered the loop ahead. If the front node or the Fonterrier node is empty, then it is a failure, or if the initial node is the goal node or the initial node is actually not existing, then it is a failure state, will be written as a 0. Then choose if leaf node and then remove from the front node. Like we'll go on proceeding with the traversing part. The leaf node is there, then remove from the front node and further it will be connected to the parent node. If node contains a goal state, then return to the corresponding solution and choose the node and adding number of node in the frontier part. When we will be traversing like the left subtree or like right subtree, then we will be proceeding with the child node part. So ultimately when the goal state will be approaching, we will be removing that node and will be giving the details to the part, return the same value to the function algorithm. So this is the basic tree algorithm. So let's continue with the part. So as this is an example, we come across with the route map of the Romania in last class. These are the location names: Ardeak, Sabdu, Timișoara and Zarland. So when we say this is Ardeak, so from Ardeak when we are going to Budapest, so this is part we can go to Sibiu, we can go to Timișoara, we can go to Zarland also. So how these states are also connected to many other parts. So this is exactly how the tree search algorithm is applicable. So this is the initial state or like the start state from our algorithm, and the last state where we will be representing, will be reaching down to any of this state. Arda is one of the expanded node, this corresponding to Sibiu and returning to Arda. This is a part. Now again when we reach to this place, this is now the parent node and these are the child nodes. So this way this is going to be expanded as soon as many as expansion can be done by the path which is given on the route map. Also when we will be reached down, let's say Liqua is the last stop where we are supposed to reach down. So this is the final node for our searching part. So how this implementation, we have come across with the 8 puzzle game in the last class. So when we are representing such a thing, we'll be representing the state and the nodes in the form of a representation of a node. We'll be constructing a node using any programming language. Let's say a state can be represented with the physical configuration. Same way a node in a data structure consisting of the search tree only. It includes the state, parent node and the child node and the depth of a tree. And we come across with the initial state of the 8 puzzle game, and this is going to be the one of the state where we are putting all the action to this node, that this can be expanded to right or left or any empty move can be done. So the expand functions basically create a new node filling the various fields using the successor path, and the problem with the corresponding states are also considered. So how this implementation of a general tree can be done? So this is the way, this is a sample pseudocode or the algorithm steps that I have been explained here. So we'll be basically doing 2 function criteria over here. So the first function criteria is showing the tree search, that is the problem statement which is to be clearly understood. Will be considered 2 steps, that is the initial will be considered in the part of Fonterrier, and next from the initial to goal state, how we are following which path from initial node to goal state will be representing. One more function part will be represent also, like the root node is been followed up with the parent node and the child node. So basically there we are doing the expansion of our node, like expansion of the tree has been continued. So let's say in the function part, when we are approaching the tree search, the problem, and it is going to return a solution, or else if there is no goal state, then definitely this is the failure part. So Fonterrier making the initial node of the problem statement where we are beginning our loop. Okay, then we'll further, if the Fonterrier is empty, then return. If there is no initial state, then it doesn't require to go ahead for the traversing part. Similarly, we'll return a value. Now what is going to be written? Whatever the value that is present in the node, that is going to be written. If the goal state is been executed, then return, or else Fonterrier will insert the next node for the problem statement. Like for the part, we'll be expanding more number of nodes. So we'll have another function for the expanding part. This will be considered the successor nodes that are present in the list. For example, let's say for loop we are considering whatever the successor loops are present, we'll consider a new node, then we'll be traverse the parent node with the left part. Also we'll consider the path cost, because whenever we are using the tree search algorithm, we'll come across with the uniform cost values also, will consider the shortest path, and the cost value which is going to be minimal will follow that condition, and will come across with four things with us. We need to understand what is the new node that is constructed, parent node and its action to be taken, that has to be whenever we are changing our moves from initial state to final state, that is going to be the action part. Path cost, wherever we are taking any of the action that has cost can be calculated. Then we will be find out the depth of a tree, which is going to be tell us how many labels are there to conform the tree from the initial node to the final node, and then will be written a value that is called with the successor node. So I hope you must be clear about this algorithm. Then we'll come across with the search criteria. As we'll be proceeding with the search criteria, basically in case of ununiform search algorithm will be discussed more here. So what is the search criteria? We have come across the strategy that defining to picking the order of a node expansion. That is what strategies that we are using. We need to search out the initial for the goal state that is present in the complex problem statement or like complex searching algorithm, but we need to follow some of the criteria also. What all criteria will we follow? That is have the completeness, optimality, time complexity and the space complexity. So when we say about the completeness of a searching criteria has to be fulfilled, does it always find out the solution if one exists? Like see, whenever we are making something the part of searching, and also we come across that the searching can only be fruitful if we have a complete solution to that. Sometimes we have not yet reached to the state. In between that, if you are getting a result, if you have more than one goal state and you are reaching there, so will that solution will be completeness, providing you complete solution or not? Optimality, yes, of course. We'll try to follow up the optimal cost solution through the searching criteria, and we'll go for the best feasible solution accordingly. Then come down with the time complexity. As we are expanding the number of nodes that are to be generated from the start node to the goal state, so basically we are expanding the nodes. So as many as nodes that are expanded in this journey, it is going to be more time consuming to solve the algorithm. So one thing we need to keep in our mind that the algorithm should be fruitful only when we are using minimum time complexity and also space complexity. Whenever we are making any nodes in the memory and we are taking the action, whenever we are do any kind of change in the state from initial to the next state, obviously the space complexity increases. So it is important that we should use the minimum space in the memory location that has to be that has to be less complex to the algorithm. And in terms of time and space, we come across with the branching factor, that the tree having number of branches that will be considered as small b. D will be the depth of the least feasible solution, depth of a tree will be calculated, and the maximum depth of a state space will be considered, where this algorithm or the state space criteria is going to be fruitful, that will be considered as m, that maybe lies between 0 to infinity part. So these are the categories of uninformed search as we have come across with the uninformed searching criteria. Basically uninformed search is also a category of brute force technique, or like we can say it is a blind search also, because the output destination of the goal state is not previously known, and we will be proceeding various type of algorithm to solve this one. So we'll begin with the first algorithm, that is BFS, that is breadth first search. So what is breadth first search? Breadth first search is mostly the common search technique traversing in the tree data structure. In this algorithm will be implementation of this algorithm or search criteria can be fruitful using the programming language like C, C++, Java, Python, etc. The searching algorithm operates the search according to the breadth first. Breadth-wise searching can be done from the tree or through implementation of using tree or graph. And the procedure mostly that are used in search criteria, that is BFS algorithm, starts to search initially with the root node, then it will be continued with the part of breadth-wise, then breadth-wise, and the root node of the tree expands to all the successor node from the current node and move to the next level. So in this also part, BFS is implemented by the using of FIFO queue, that is the first in first output queue. If there is more than one solution for the given problem, then BFS will be provide the minimum solution and require the less number of value to that. So as it has been shown, we have a representation here with the tree data structure. This is the tree structure where A is the root node and will be having the will be traversing the tree using the breadth wise. So these are the two parent node. From A it will be traversed to B node, then it will move to C, and this way it will be continuing. So it again traversed to C. At that time B is having the D and E will be the child node. After traversing this right subtree parent node, it will be come to D, E and F. So these are the thing. And also I will try to give you an example of this tree in a environment part. Let's say we have the breadth first algorithm here. Let's say we have one more example which is showing here that A, B, C, D, this is the part and G is our goal node. Okay, so this is like a complete binary tree which has been showing here. First of all, the breadth first start with the root node and tree is examine all the nodes in the same level, and it then moves to the next level. So at the initial part, the root node is A, then it is moving ahead with the node for B, then it is moving with the again the breadth wise, that is C, then it will come to this level, that is D, E, F and G, H, then it is coming to the part of I, J, until it will be continue, it reaches to the goal state. As the breadth first exclusively examine every node at a particular depth before proceeding to the next level, it guarantees the solution. If one node with the shortest path from the initial node A, then this is the disadvantages of this path. So let's say for reaching to the goal state N, this can be fruitful, can we reach to this state by in this way A to C, C to F and F to N, this can be feasible, or like from A to B, B to D, C, F, G, H, then I, J, K, L, M, N. So there are the different paths that we have been examined here. So there are some like advantages and disadvantages also. The mostly disadvantages come in this breadth first search is that there is huge memory allocation or the time memory management, or like we can say the space complexity is quite high, as a record needs to be expanded from every expansion of the nodes itself. So let's continue with the same thing. So as these are the properties that comes to our mind when we'll be discussing, these are the, we have the searching criteria strategy comes into mind with the fourth thing, that is the completeness, time, space and optimality. So this can be, how far this can be feasible. When we say about the time complexity, it is the path, this is the using the branching method, 1 plus b plus, this is the exponential growth method, that is the theta notation b to the power d, this is the exponential representation also. Time complexity can be obtained with the number of nodes that are traversed in the BFS until the shallowest node, where the D is the depth of the shallowest node, and also B is the branching factor of the tree, which has been noted down here. And important thing is that as it is a very space consuming, also this is the disadvantageous part. Space complexity of the BFS algorithm is given with the memory size with the frontier end, that is the G O big O notation, B to the power D exponential D, keeping here. And about the completeness, if we say, yes, of course BFS is a complete when it means to the we reach to the shallowest goal node in the same finite depth, and then the BFS solution is to be begun. For the part of optimality, yes, every step is going to be cost equal to 1 to have a good optimal solution. BFS is optimal if the cost is good, not to be decreased, and also we will have a optimal feasibility finding the goal state. Space consideration, it is easily to be generated 1 m node seconds, as you say megabyte or like gigabyte. This is the configuration for the tree. So one more thing is that what is the uniform cost source, that is the implementation. See, we are further part last we have come across with the FIFO queue. Here we are going to use the priority queue, that it is going to help you to find out which prior position that is been important, that is the path cost we have been applicable to here, that is G of n. And this uniform cost is more fruitfully studied in the path of heuristic search actually. If this step of cost, that is the epsilon we are taking, cost greater than epsilon greater than 0, then it is going to identify which is the minimum feasible path that we can follow to have the minimum optimal solution and also minimum cost that can be executed. So here we will start with the next one, that is the DFS part. Depth first search is the recursive algorithm. Actually, when we say about the recursive, it is a function inside a function is called as the recursive algorithm. And also recursive for the traversing that can be done with the help of representation of the state space in terms of tree or graph data structure. DFS search begins with the start node and follow to each part of the greatest depth part till the next node can be visited. And DFS use like the LIFO, that is last in first out queue, or else we can use in the method of stack representation also. In case of DFS, backtracking is the algorithm that is mostly applicable to find out all the possible solution by using the recursion method. And here also we are covering this tree in a depth wise will be traversed. In BFS we have come across with depth wise, so will be applicable the recursion by using the backtracking possible algorithm. So we have, this is the root node and we have been traversing depth wise. So this is the left subtree, let's say, and these are the parent nodes and these are the leaf or the child nodes. So it is traversing in such a way, it will continue to the depth wise traversing in the algorithm, and then it will be moved to the right subtree part. So here as we come back again to the E, so this is the backtracking we will be using. Once we have traversed this whole part, then again we are coming back to this level. So this is the recursive function that we are using. Again we are backtracking to the position to reach to the initial state. Okay, so these are some of the properties that are been discussed. Before that I would like to give the example of this tree also. Let's begin with this as we have already been done this part. So let's say this is the same example we have studied in BFS, and same will be studied in terms of your DFS part also. So when we are saying about the BFS, it was doing the traversing by the method of breadthwise, but here in terms of DFS, when we say the root node can continue down to the particular branch by selecting the child node at the deepest level of the tree, and to be expansion that can be done. More important to this part is that when this type of searching will be done by the backtracking continuing to the search node till the last node is fully examined. So what we are doing, we are starting our journey from this node, that is A, and N is our goal node. So initially we will be visit to the left subtree completely, then we will be move ahead with the right subtree. So this is a clear graphical representation. I think students could be clearly understood, and this is the sequence also we are writing at the below. This is A, B, D, J, I, J. So it will be come down A to B, B to D, D to I, J, then it will move to E, then K, L, M, then it will move to C, F, N. So this is the final state where we will be reaching out to the goal state. And this method is also applicable in the part of our 8-queen puzzle solving. So if there is a chessboard having the 8-queen puzzle problem, so we can do the utilization of DFS search in that category to solve a complex problem. And moreover, it is having both advantages and disadvantages. As we say, DFS requires very less memory, as it is to be only need to store this need location that can be implemented with the stack part. And the disadvantage is that DFS follow with the depth narrow search criteria. It will be go to search till the depth of all the initial path has to be closed, then it move on to come down with the backtracking method. The same function is repeated more than one time, so it is also been having the disadvantages, that is the part of complexity arena. So these are the properties that will be come across with this. Like completeness, no fails, that is the initiated depth close is the part. If it also fails with a finite state of number of loops. Same way we have the time complexity, that is theta to the b to the power m, that is the space criteria. We are taking much larger value and the density of the algorithm is on increasing, and the space, that is it is more suitable with the linear space only with the complexity. If we are taking more complex data, then this algorithm is going to be more complex. And how far the optimality can be considered, in some phase it can be optimal, because to finding the depth every time it will be more time consuming also. So both the algorithm has its advantages and disadvantages too. So my dear students, so it is we are completing our 2 algorithm with the uniform search criteria. Further we have 2 more algorithm that will be discussed in the next class. Till now, go through with the notes once more and try to write the algorithm by yourself, and if you require for the implementation part, then you can design the program using any of the programming language, that is C or C++ or like Java or Python. These programs can be easily developed. So thank you for today's lecture.